Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Hegseth, thank you for your continued attention to Guam. Really appreciate it, and while leading the War Department here, and I'd like to remind my colleagues that one of your first official trips as Secretary was to visit Guam. And during your confirmation hearing, you identified the island as America's most strategic location globally. And this commitment does not go unnoticed, sir. So I thank you, Mr. Secretary, for that. And as we continue our buildup for the defense of our nation in Guam and the people of Guam, as we have many active duties personnel, but we also have a lot of Department of War civilian personnel too. And right now, one of our my most consistent questions from my constituents have been asking is, when would the living quarter allowance authorization for War Department civilians in Guam, when will it be implemented? And recently, your office confirmed that the guidance should be published early May. Will you work to keep that timeline? And will you work to ensure living quarter allowance will properly incentivize local hires to stay on Guam?
Well, if that's what we stated, we need to stick with it. That's been our pledge. And I think it reiterates that the amount we're paying on to pay for housing and for quality of life and living at certain, especially unique locations, is usually mismatched, and it causes staffing and workforce problems that we need to address in a tailored nature to some of those unique locations, like Guam, like Hawaii, and others in Europe. So yes, we're committed to that. And I would just note that in our budget, we've got almost $1 billion for the Guam defense system. Also, we're investing in ensuring that that critical location you described is part of our theater umbrella.
Excellent, sir. Thank you for that. Another longstanding request I have from the War Department has been the increased support for Guam's power grid. As you know, we all, the one island approach there and working together, our water, our power, our port, our airports, our hospital, it's all in support, working together with the military. Well, one of the important ones for us is Guam's power grid. And most of Guam's grid is owned by the department and is leased to the Guam Power Authority. And as the military demands upon the power grid increases, do you see either O&M funds or military construction funds being the best path for the department to support Guam's power grid needs?
I'd welcome your input, first and foremost, as we have throughout. But as was noted, we've got $450 million for small modular reactors, which is a new approach we're taking, which we think makes our bases more resilient. If there's one place the American people count on being able to be prepared in that moment, it's our bases wherever they are, whether CONUS or OCONUS. And these reactors are a key part of getting at it. So that would be part of how I would answer your question.
I appreciate that, Mr. Secretary. Also, the Guam Power Authority is the only one in charge of all the transmission lines. So we're that power source, and I know there was some consideration of the small nuclear reactors as well, but the Power Authority will be the one for the transmission lines for all the power on the island. So looking forward to working with your office. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Another deep concern for the people of Guam has been the cost of housing, which is often driven up by large numbers of servicemen living on base in Guam, off base on Guam. And I've been impressed by the recent efforts by Joint Regional Marianas to reduce the reliance on existing housing stock in both north and south of Guam. Can you tell us how the Department Housing strategy in Guam will work to keep homes affordable to locals, and if increased private sector involvement would help address my constituents' concerns?
Well, we've got about $4.5 billion for family housing in the FY27 budget. It's something we recognize as a challenge, and in places like that, a unique challenge. There's also been a bureaucratic construction process, which has been a huge impediment, and you can imagine President Trump has demanded that we do something different and accelerate a different process to deliver those things in more of a private sector, less bureaucratic fashion, and we look forward to employing those.
Excellent, sir. And finally, we did have one discussion when we first met in Guam regarding the Medal of Honor possible recipients that are deserving of this. Now, Guam has never had any Medal of Honor recipients, and there's three names that we've...
Gentleman's time's expired.
Thank you.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.